Hey guys, and welcome in today's episode of Behind the Closed Doors. Now normally you're used for me being in the studio or on location shooting. Today I have a half a day off and I decided, because well, it looks beautiful out here, but you're gonna see that in a moment, to actually do a bike ride. Now it's freezing cold, so that's why I'm wearing the funny hat, gloves, and I'm wearing some very warm clothing. So I'm going to take you with me during one of my bike rides. Now we have several, and this is actually the longest, but it's also the most beautiful. It's going through UNESCO heritage. So I'm going to explain some of the sites, and you will recognize some of those sites probably from the Kelby One videos. So join me in today's episode, which will be called Behind the Closed Doors, the bike ride. Okay, we're about 4 kilometers in, and this is actually where it starts getting interesting. The first part is only through Emmeloord, and now the beautiful part starts. So let me show you. So this is actually what we call het Schelpenpad. And remember, we are living below sea level. So this was all sea a few years ago, in the 1940s. And it's all now white. So let's drive a little bit and then we end up at the old harbor of Schokland. We now arrived at UNESCO Heritage, and from here on it's even more beautiful than you saw before. So let's go. Now this area you might recognize from the videos we did for Kelby One, and this is the old harbor of Schokland. Now again, this was all sea a few years ago, so in the 40s, 50s this was actually made dry land. So I'm gonna twist the camera and I'm gonna show you the area where we shot with Nadine and Lena for Kelby One. And this is normally also the area where we take a little bit of a breather, because we're now about 8-9 kilometers in. Okay, we're now driving on the area of the museum, and this is actually where a lot of people visit our area for, the Schokland Museum. Very famous. Okay, and here in the distance you actually see the famous Museum of Schokland. And it's all behind bars now. Now in the early days you could actually take great shots here, but they actually fenced that off. So that's not possible anymore. So we're now going to drive a few more kilometers that way, and there's an old ruin which actually doesn't show you anything, but that's the turning point where we go back. Okay, here we are at the Church of Ens, and you can't go up there because it's a grave monument. This is actually all that's left. Now when I was younger we actually used metal detectors around here and found some really cool stuff. So we're now about 13 kilometers in, and this is the point where we actually head home through an even more beautiful area. Part, a little bit more off-road, and we're gonna go to the Stone Garden. Now they have all kinds of very old stones there, and it's also a big tourist attraction. Okay, and now we're almost back at the old harbour of Scotland. We're now about 16.6 kilometers in, and now we're on the way back home. Okay, in case you're wondering on what kind of bike I drive, so this is my bike, the Cube, and we have pretty low tire pressure, so we have a lot of friction, so I have to work really hard, and that's because during the summer we also do a lot of off-roading, and we use the iPhone with Runkeeper to keep everything in sync during the drive. Okay, in the background we're now rendering all the files for Behind the Closed Doors, and we're going to add a few clips because I want to show you how I mount my iPhone to my bike. Now, this is one of the most cool cases I know. It's actually a modular case from Otter, and you can mount different accessories on it. Now, in this case, there's a battery on, and what I actually did is I ordered a quad lock universal, and we just mounted that one on the battery. So now when I go biking, I have extra battery power, and I have my quad locks, which is also on my bike. Now, the cool thing about this Otter box is that I can actually remove this very easily. So let me see if I can do that with one hand. There we go. And you can put other accessories on there. And most of the time, of course, when you bike, you need extra battery power, especially for the longer bike rides. So we mount this, and then with the universal quad lock on top, we can actually mount it on our mountain bike, which is an awesome solution. Now, this is Ruby Track on the Mac, and you can actually see the route here. So I went all the way from Emmeloord to Scotland. And don't worry guys, it's not Scotland, it's actually Schokland. So I didn't went to the UK and all the way back. And the cool thing about Ruby Track is, and this was done with the iPhone, I can actually see my heart rate. And I always have a pretty high heart rate. So that's normal. The pacing and the elevation. Now normally I do this route in about maybe a little bit over an hour, 1 hour 15. Today we took 1 hour and 48, but that's because we also got some phone calls in, and of course I have to answer those. So, and then when it's so cold, you rather have no phone calls. So that's Behind the Closed Doors for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below, and we'll see you again this weekend during the workshops. See you guys. Bye bye. And by the way, this is also pretty cool. When you encounter photographers during the trip, you actually get an email like this. Hey Frank, we saw you on your bike. Yeah, I'm actually doing a little scene for Behind the Closed Doors here. So, really cool. Thank you so very much for sending this.